Hey guys, so today we are going to finish a job that one of my guys quoted about a week or two ago. On his initial visit, he found the indoor blower. It's a split system, a Payne split system, and the indoor blower had failed. The capacitor died on it, so he replaced the blower, put a new capacitor on there, got that going, cleaned the condensing coil, and then once we got that all situated, or once he got all that situated, we suspected that the evaporator coil was plugged just because of the low suction. I think we had a 30-degree evaporator coil. So the first thing we're going to do today is we're going to open up that unit. I'm going to drill a little hole up underneath the A coil. I'm going to get my endoscope underneath there, and we're going to see if we can get eyes on the inside of that evaporator coil. If it is as dirty as we suspect it is, we're going to yank it out, clean it, put it back in, and then dial in the charge and get everything situated for him. Also, while we're here today, we're going to replace the grill. The grill is kind of sitting at an angle. There's a lot of space around the filter. The return grill there's only one return grill, and the return grill sits down lower to the floor. This is an office building, a lot of foot traffic going through there, so I suspect that this thing has just been sucking in dirt and gunk and everything else around that filter for many, many years. So we're going to go inside, like I said, check out that coil, and see if we can pull it and clean it. I'll bring you along for the ride. Alright, so we have our endoscope inside of our A coil on the underside, and if you can see everything in there, it looks like lint and dog hair from the past 15 years is built up inside this coil. Hope it's picking that up on camera. That looks really thick right there. Good Lord.
Oh, wow.
It looks like shag carpet inside there. Yeah, we'll pull this coil and clean it. Hopefully that's coming through on camera. That's nice right there.
Oh yeah, I got it zoomed in there.
Like a barber shop floor. There's the other side. Let's see if we can get around to this other side. As you can tell, we got our system pumped down. We got everything pumped into the condenser. Liquid line, suction line closed off. And now we're going to go inside, disconnect our A coil, pull it out here, and then we're going to clean it up. Alright, I'll see you on the inside. As you can see, we got our A coil removed. Take a peek down our heat exchanger. Don't see any cracks in that. That looks pretty decent. So, got my fittings all ready to braze back in there. We'll get this coil cleaned up and get it back in there. Alright guys, it's not an ideal setup, but I got my A coil out here in the parking lot, sitting on the side of my ladder, and we're gonna wet it down a little bit before we get chemical on it. I'm not using a whole lot of pressure because I don't want to bend up all these fins and destroy everything. You see over there, my line set's all taped off. See if we can get some garbage pouring out of here. Alright guys, we're going to foam our coil up. I got it set on E, or A, excuse me, which is our 3-to-1 ratio. This coil on the inside is just filthy, so I have it set pretty high. So we're going to get this all foamed up. Let that foam sit in there for a little while. We're going to give this system a new life. All right, I got it phoned up. I'm gonna let it sit there for a few minutes, let the magic happen, and then we'll probably rinse it and foam it maybe another couple of times just to make sure we get it nice and clean. All right, we had the foam sitting on there for about 5 or 10 minutes. Not too terrible. Now we're gonna spray it off and see what kind of garbage we get out of this thing. Now once we get it cleaned off, I'm going to flip it around on its side and just get a visual on the inside. I'll bring it along for that, show you what we're looking at. On this side. Got to be careful. As you can see, I kind of started to bend a little bit of those fins. Be really, really careful with that, guys. You don't want to start bending fins, and we're kind of defeating the purpose of even cleaning this coil. Alright guys, after thoroughly cleaning it from the outside, you can tell that we really barely scratched the surface of this, so I'm going to get a brush in there and just scrape all this gunk off, and then we'll have to refoam it. But man, this thing is just awful. Look at that, you can't even see the fins on this side. This side we got a little bit of the crap off, but not too much, so we're going to have to get a brush on that. Alright, we're getting there. Took a little bit of doing, but we brushed it. We're starting to be able to see through the coil. We just got a whole lot of mud and gunk to work through, so alright, let me get back to work here, guys. Alright guys, we're doing our final rinse. I got the inside clean, outside clean. Make sure you get all the chemical out of this drain pan. If it sits there, it's just gonna eat away that drain pan eventually, so get all the chemical out of there. Now real quick, I'm gonna finish spraying that in a second, but real quick, let me show you the inside now. I mean, it's much, much better. It's not perfect, but it's much, much better. There's a little bit of grease buildup that I can't really get out. I foamed it inside and out multiple times. I've used an entire jug of foaming agent so far, but yeah, she's doing much, much better. So I'm gonna do this final rinse, and then we're gonna braze it back in place. All right, so we got our A coil set in place. We got our line set fitted back up thanks to my Hillmore swedging tool. We're going to braze it in place and pull a vacuum. Alright guys, our A coil is brazed in place. Joints look nice. If we can get it to focus right there. Yeah, joints look nice and tight. I'm gonna let this thing cool off a little bit and then we'll start pulling a vacuum on it. Alright, so you can tell we got our cover back on. Line set's brazed in. We just need to get some foam tape on this line set. We'll put a little bit of foam tape or silver tape around our drains. Keep that air inside that coil right there. Let's go out and check our vacuum. Down to 200 on my micron gauge. Field piece says 578, but remember again, this field piece, the micron gauge inside the field piece is really closest to the pump, so it's gonna, actually I take that back, it should read a little bit lower, but anyway, the point of that story is I don't always trust the built-in micron gauge on these field pieces for some reason. My go-to micron gauge is my CPS every time on my low side. So I'm gonna let it run for a few more minutes, and I'm gonna valve it off and see where we stand, alright? Alright guys, we're down to 160 microns. I'm going to valve off my pump right there and see what kind of a decay we get. Now don't be alarmed, it will initially rise, but it should settle down. And then once we pass our decay test, we're going to open up our king and queen valves, close up our control panel right there, and then we're going to power this thing on and get some cool air flowing around in the building. Got a nice tight vacuum. That thing's not rising at all. 150 microns with my old JB pump. This thing has served me well. It's at 6 CFMs. I changed the oil about two vacuums ago. We're still holding at 150. Alright, I'm going to let this sit for another few minutes and then we're going to start everything up. It's been running for about 10 minutes right now. You can, if it'll pick it up on camera, you can see our condensing temperature about 108 degrees. We got a 41 degree evaporator. Superheat's hanging around about 12. Subcooling is 16. Our data tag says 20. So we're right within tolerance for now. Let's go in here and take a look at our supply temperature. We got a supply of 62 right now. Our return was 76 a minute ago. Let's double check. It'll pick it up. 75 on our return on our nice new return grill that we installed. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of gas and bring our subcooling up. The data tag says 22, we're at 14. We're going to start off with about a half pound. Just about there. Alright guys, we're just about to wrap up here. We're doing our final testing. We got a 84 degree air temperature going into our condenser. And our condensing temperature is still at 106, if it'll pick it up on camera there. So we're still a little low. Subcooling still about 16. We're shooting for about 20-22. So we're gonna add in about another half pound and retest after that and see where we stand. Our supply is still about 58, 57, depending where we take the temperature at. So I wanted to give a quick little recap on that call. I didn't get much footage towards the end when we were finally wrapping up. It started to rain, so I just kind of had to quickly get my gauges off there, clean up all our equipment, and kind of get out of the back of the building there. But we ended up with a 53 degree supply, 71 return.
our subcooling, we hit it right on the head. We had 22. Head pressure was about 109. Our evaporator temperature was 37, almost 38, I believe. Our head pressure was a little bit lower. I wanted it closer to about 110, 115, but it was actually raining and our ambient temperature dropped from 84 to closer to 78, so our head pressure dropped with it too. But yeah, we stuck around and watched it satisfy the thermostat at I think 70 is what they set it for. But yeah, everything came out good on that one. Very, very pleased with that job. I don't get the opportunity to yank out many A coils because what we do is mostly commercial package units, but it was a good change of pace for once. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. I try to narrate as I go and give you guys a little bit of information, try to help anybody out there who's trying to learn something. But like and subscribe, guys. If you have any ideas or anything, comments, suggestions, whatever, put it below in the comment section. I'm going to attach a screenshot showing the final numbers here. But yeah, like and subscribe.